Good afternoon. My name is Scott Forcino. I'm an associate broker with EXP Realty based in New York City. I founded PlugIntro, which is agents' local business development platforms, so that we each meet who we know and make better and more referral partners with our contacts. I have with me today Edwin Moran, who is an associate broker in Bronx, New York. And I want to hear what he says and how he's been handling transactions on behalf of clients and how he works best to develop their best buying and selling experience. Good afternoon, Edwin.
Hello, my name is Edwin. I work with Best Match Real Estate. I've been in the business for 7 years. I've been dealing with buyers and sellers for those 7 years. What makes an agent very good and trustworthy is the knowledge of the market, right? Anyone can be a real estate agent, but it takes knowledge to be a great realtor. One of the things that I do differently from different agents is I like to make the buyer comfortable in their buying experience. Most of the buyers that I work with are buyers that are attracted to my listings and the way I market properties. And the goal for me is to make this transaction for you a lot easier for you to understand and comfortable. Pretty much hold your hand in this transaction. For example, most buyers, first-time home buyers, don't know the steps of actually buying a home. I have actually made a few videos myself that actually explains the process step by step to get your home, to purchase your first home, easy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I do, I like to answer any questions that you may have ahead of time. If you have any questions in regards to how to get pre-approved to how much money do I need in the bank and how can I get the process started, I will answer all those questions. One of the things that I like to do is I like to sit down with the buyer and I like to
Mm-hmm.
go over any questions that you have in the buying process. For example, one of the questions would be, how do I get started? The first step is actually getting started by speaking to a lender in your area, preferably
Mm-hmm.
private lenders who are a lot flexible and a lot easier to work with rather than big banks such as Chase, Citi, and Bank of America. And when we work with a private lender, these private lenders work with loans that are a lot smaller rather than Chase that they like to work with loans that are a lot bigger, and it makes it a lot harder to be in communication with. You won't have any issues with that with me. Based on my experience this last 7 years, I find it easier to work with a private lender rather than a big bank because there's more communication. You don't have to go through sales reps, customer service, or anything like that. You deal with one specific mortgage broker who will get your pre-qualifications through your tax returns, your income, pretty much get you started on how a bank is how much a bank is willing to qualify you for a loan. They're going to be based off the last 2 years of your income.
Mm-hmm.
Once this bank approves you for a set number of a loan, we go out and purchase homes. Let's suppose we do find a house that you like. The first thing we do with me, we will look at the comps in the area to show you what homes are selling in this neighborhood. In that case, we pretty much make sure that you don't overpay for a property that you like. We want to make sure that you're paying a fair price, fair market price for your property. That you, once we get our offer accepted, the next step is getting an inspection report done. Once the inspection report is done, it's all handed over to the attorneys who's going to represent you in the sale, making sure when the title is transferred over to you that you have no liens or any violations onto the title when you inherit the property. Once the contracts are fully executed, it will be sent over to a loan officer who will process the loan. Then they will ask for any additional information to verify and get a commitment letter to get you approved for the loan. Typically, this takes anywhere from 30 to 40 days. You can see yourself in your next home in the next 30 to 45 days. And
Well, that's great information. I mean, a lot of people didn't realize that the personal connection to the bank is paramount. People think they can go to these big banks, and I know that in certain areas, listing agents representing the seller won't even consider representing to their seller clients that that's a good idea. I mean, they don't want to call an 800 number 5 time zones away. They'd rather pick up the phone and speak to someone who knows the area and knows the people in the deal. And that's not that's something positive, because now the loan can be funded and people can achieve their goals of buying and selling. But I'm glad that you said that. That's something that people may not know.
right.
And when you represent a seller, what are some of the things that you consider with the buyer's offers?
Great question. So when we deal with any buyers or any offers that is being presented to my seller, we do what is called the pre-screening process. Make sure that we get in contact with the loan officer themselves to verify any information on this pre-approval. Make sure that everything's up to date, and they're ready to go. That's my part of my due diligence before moving forward with any buyer, before getting into contract.
Right. And yet, I mean, another thing I know that I've done and others are expecting is to really be able to weigh out the offers. Some people have a house to sell. I mean, how have you handled that when you consider the different buyers' strengths and weaknesses?
So yeah, there's multiple ways we like to go about it. From based on
Mhm.
my experience, there's some loan officers that can actually, when we deal with the same offer that's on the table, whether it's 20% down, 10% down, or 5% down, it's very important for me to feel comfortable with the loan. Even if you were to have a 5% down payment, and I know the bank and I have a great relationship with this bank, I know that they can close the loan. More than likely, those chances are that I will give it to the buyer who I've had experience with in the past with loan officers that they could secure and pretty much vouch for this buyer to close his loan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
I think it's very important for us to understand the relationships that we build in these businesses. And I don't think this is something that we want to attain. I think everybody shows their best foot forward in regards to these transactions.
Right. A client is served by having a stress-free, quick deal. And if that means that you've spent the time learning your craft and knowing who's who, affiliating yourselves with the most competent colleagues and professionals, that's the reason why we are successful in representing someone. I mean, if you take someone from another area who knows just as much as you do, they probably can't help the client as much because they don't know the situations to avoid. They don't know something. I mean, for instance, a listing agent might tell a seller to take a lower price because they're much more comfortable with the buyer's circumstance and the parties surrounding them. I've heard of situations where, I mean, tell me if I'm right, because I know in your area, when you submit an offer, are you oftentimes not just using the dollars and the cents? Are you also including the attorney, the inspector, and the lender? Is that what you found?
Yes. So the more people that I know that's going to be on the transaction, the better I have a peace of mind, and I can have my clients feel comfortable with the process. Usually, when it comes down to the lender, the inspection, the attorney, I like to let my sellers know my past relationships, my previous deals with these people, just to make it a smooth transaction as possible.
I agree. And that's something that the seller could never know. And that's something that if they hire someone who's maybe brand new or with a company that doesn't necessarily believe in these types of deep relationships, that's where I really found the value. And that's where someone can set themselves apart. Where if you're working with our co-host Monica Burgos, and you can say, listen, if Monica says it's okay, it's okay. We're not going to be pushed around by a bank that is huge, that doesn't like our, relatively small purchase, or we're dealing with an internet-based bank where they're using an 800 number and it's, a call center somewhere in the world. We're dealing with Monica. We're going to bother Monica on a Sunday afternoon, and she's going to answer the phone, and you're going to be able to rest this weekend,
Right.
and enjoy your day. That's what I found. And there's something, Edwin, I want to say that I say to everybody in this interview event series, is that trust is under attack. There's all the technology and all the financial investments are being made in the type of connection between the consumer and the producer. There's Zillow already tried to somehow cut out realtors.
Right.
And other technological companies are trying to cut out banks. They're looking to have a source. The Super Bowl had Rocket Mortgage, $30 million for 30 seconds, because they want someone, maybe a younger person or more someone tech savvy, to press a button on their phone and they get clear to close. And we know that's not going to happen, but that's not going to happen now. Who's to say when the artificial intelligence catches up? They're never going to know who's the right person to work with in a deal, but they may know that a buyer likes a street with more trees, and they may know what you know, that on this street, all the houses were renovated, and on that street, they weren't. That's something of local flavor. You know that this street, even look what just happened with these hurricanes. That street gets really, really flooded. This street doesn't. That's not something that could be known now. So you need the personal touch.
Right.
And that's what you can really give clients. But I think I would refer you, because I don't know your area, anyone who look for either sell a house or buy a house in your area, reach the people with the company who know what they're doing. And I think that in this day and age, if you are just asking for business, in your case, looking for your contacts and your sphere to give you business, that's weak. I think now's the time that with a realtor looking for contacts to refer them business, you have to give them something of value. And by that, I mean a place to promote their business or a place to gain resources for all their home or their own needs. A lender who works with you is giving you a chance to promote your business. So really the bottom line is, if you're not giving people a way that they can gain by having a web presence or a digital position, I think you're crazy.
Right.
So that's powerful. So I think that you and Monica are going to do a great job of gaining a greater audience for yourselves and giving that audience their own voice and giving them a chance to promote themselves. So it's really a win for everyone, and it's a positive, impactful platform where people really learn the best way to promote themselves. And you know what? We're in a different kind of real estate market. We're in and we're going into, and
Right.
plus winter, and we don't know the spring market, what that'll hold, or interest rates. I think that stronger relations are more important now than ever. And I think that they're only going to be achieved by giving and not asking.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree.
Okay. Well, our staff, Sophie and her team, will assist you in maximizing your audience so that you are seen by more and more and better people, better referral partners, people that are more interested in doing work with you. So we'll look forward to giving your audience that voice that they think that they can use. And you'll get the right information, invite your contacts to promote their business and hear more about yourselves.